Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is Monday, June 20th. Today is actually Juneteenth holiday. It is a fairly new holiday here in the US. I don't know if it's worldwide, but it is the day that, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, but let's look it up. I don't want to quote this incorrectly. It is called Emancipation Day or Freedom Day, and it commemorates June 19th, 1865, when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, and gave word to enslaved African Americans that they were free. So that is awesome, right? Absolutely. And in the US, I mean, it is a holiday here, so banks and post offices are closed. Bill was off work. I had to work early in the morning. We finished a job that we actually were working on last week. I only worked for about an hour and a half. So Saturday night, we went to Longhorn Restaurant to celebrate my stepdaughter's birthday. And that was good. I got a salad, which was actually really good. It was grilled chicken, and it had lettuce, pecans, grapes, strawberries, feta cheese, raspberry vinaigrette dressing, and I want to say mandarin oranges. It was really good. And grilled chicken on it, of course. And that was really delicious. And then we came back and we just hung out back for a little bit, and they left about 8 o'clock. Bill and I were in bed by 10. And then Sunday, we got up because Sunday was Father's Day. So I got up and I had breakfast with my dad at 8:15, and that was really good. And then I came home, we went to the grocery store, and then Bill and his daughter went to lunch for Father's Day, and I did some coloring actually. So my next face-to-face video, which will probably be tomorrow, I will show you, I finished the background and I did some vines. I colored the vines with green glitter gel pen. I think next I'm going to work on the skin tone in that. So I didn't do any stitching on Saturday night, and I didn't do any stitching last night because I was up really early yesterday. I was up at like 5:30, which was cuckoo crazy pants, right? So when they were gone having lunch, like I said, I was coloring, I was doing some housework, I was getting stuff ready for dinner because we were going to have chicken fajitas for dinner. We're obsessed with fajitas now. And so we did that. And then we've been wanting to watch this movie that just came out on Friday on Paramount Plus called Jerry and Marge Go Large, and it stars Bryan Cranston and Annette Bening. And what's so awesome is it has Rainn Wilson from The Office, Dwight's character, and it is such a wonderful, heartwarming, amazing story. It's inspired by a true story. So Jerry and Marge, Jerry actually is the one that figures out a loophole in the lottery, and he winds up playing it. And I won't give it away, but what happens, but what an amazing movie. I absolutely loved it. You know, after watching so much suspense and true crime and all of that deep, dark stuff for so long, I like watching stuff like that. And like the movie Hustle with Adam Sandler, I like watching the underdog come out on top because of good things that they've done. So we did that. Again, we were in bed by 10. That seems to be our routine on the weekends. So got up this morning and I lost 2.8 pounds this week. So that was very exciting. And I feel a lot better, you know, already just from eating better. And Bill lost 7 pounds. He's much more active than I am, and he's a guy, so I don't even try to compare my journey with his. We're just both, it's a lot easier when your spouse is eating healthy too, because we don't have any junk in the house. So yeah, he's doing really good. Tonight we're having pork chops for dinner, and he actually bought ones at Costco that have the bone on it, and I I'm going to cut mine off of the bone. I don't know. But yeah, so we're having that, and I'll probably have either some fruit with it. I actually have some zucchini I might eat with it too. Yeah. So doing well with that. And, with losing weight and keeping it off, it's very difficult. I've lost weight a few times just since having this channel and then wind up and was gaining it all back. It's just a mindset. You just have to have the mindset of, I'm going to eat this way for the rest of my life, have junk on the occasion, like a birthday party or something like that. But as a rule, no. And I know I just felt so much better when I didn't eat all the junk and, pasta and pizza and Chinese and McDonald's and Taco Bell and things like that, like every night. Like we were eating like that just every day, and just the portion sizes too. So, getting back on that wagon, right? So as you can see, I am still working on Primrose Cottage Stitches Be Happy, 18 count perforated paper, and the required DMC. I'm absolutely loving it. And while I was stitching this, I finished the word happy. And while I was working on that, I was watching the movie Someone Like You, which stars Greg Kinnear and Ashley Judd and Hugh Jackman. So Ashley Judd works at this news station, this TV news station, and she's the producer of a show. And Hugh Jackman is like the cameraman. And then Greg Kinnear gets hired there, and him and Ashley Judd's character fall in love, but it kind of goes to shit. And it's such a good movie. It's another movie that I've seen a bunch of times, and I don't get tired of watching it. I would say there's probably a handful of movies I own on Amazon. Like I own that one. I own What Lies Beneath with Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford. I own Presumed Innocent with Harrison Ford. Love that one. Jagged Edge, which I just watched the other day. A Few Good Men I also own. I own The Number 23 with Jim Carrey, which that is really outside of his like wheelhouse as far as it's not a comedy. It's a complete like horror suspense movie. Really good. I'm trying to think, what else do I own? Rounders, which is another favorite movie. You would think I would own Shawshank Redemption, but I don't. I should probably just buy that because I've seen that movie most of all. But Rounders stars Edward Norton, who is one of my favorite actors, and Matt Damon, and they are card players. So, yeah, I've watched all those the past couple days. Just, sometimes it's just nice to watch a movie that you've seen before. So I've been doing that and reading. I am just getting ready to start a new book. I sort of took a break after I read that last one. The last one, man, I was just sludging through it. And I forgot that tomorrow, Riley Sager's book, the hardcover book, I'm going to get it tomorrow. So I may just start reading that one. I don't think I'm going to save it for the beach because we don't go to the beach till the end of August. And really it's early. It's the first week of September. So I think I'm going to read it when I get it, because then I'm going to do a giveaway for you guys and give you guys the book too. So very excited to read his next book. And I forgot I pre-ordered it, so I get an email like just before I started this voiceover, and it says, your order is coming tomorrow. And I'm like, what order? And when I clicked on it, I was like, oh yeah, the book. Let's go, right? So, but yeah, I'm trying to decide what I want to stitch next. Obviously, I would like to stitch something I already have instead of spending money. But I really, really love the two designs I showed you from Primrose Cottage Stitches in a previous video I showed last week. Squeeze the Day and Sweet Summer. I love both of those so much. So I feel like I want to stitch those. They cannot be that much. I'm going to click on it. Yes, the voiceover, I do the voiceover. Let's see how much they cost. It can't be that much. $4.80. And it's just the yellows in that. You know how I'm really funny about stitching yellow, but this yellow is so bright I absolutely love it. So I think I'm going to do that one next. I know I want to stitch the free one by Wild Violet Cross Stitch with the mermaid, but I really love that Squeeze the Day one. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't have too much more to share. Oh, okay. Let's talk about my hair for a second. Well, first off, when I was at the drugstore yesterday, I stopped at the drugstore after I went to breakfast with my dad because I wanted to get, what did I want to pick up? I wanted to pick up a mirror so I could see the back of my hair when I fix it, like a handheld mirror. And when I was in there, I always like looking when I go in a drugstore at what they have for like bobby pins, barrettes, headbands, because I like that kind of stuff. And I bought this headband, and it is by, I don't know how to pronounce the name. I want to say Scunci. Scunci. It's probably it's Scunci. It is a pretty common brand like in drugstores, Target, Walmart. But this headband is by Ali Mano, and it is the most, and I have worn a lot of headbands. You guys know this because I've owned a ton of headbands. This is the absolute most comfortable headband I have ever worn in my entire life. I put it on and it didn't feel like I had a headband on at all. You know, I can't stand the ones that are really, really tight on your head because they wind up giving me a headache. I was completely sold. So I went online and tried to look like for her line to see if she had any other headbands. And she had a couple more. So I went on eBay because I couldn't find them like in a store. So I went on eBay and I ordered 2 more. So they're really gorgeous. So yeah, very excited because I had decluttered. When I decluttered my stuff, I decluttered a lot of my headbands that I had that were just, I put them all on that were either too tight, didn't look right. Yeah, so I donated those. And, but yeah, you know, trying to get stuff that I really, really, really love. And I got a new curling iron. My curling iron went up the other day, and I went online and was looking, and I found this one called Conair Fine and Go or Fine and Good. It's actually the clamp that clamps onto your hair. It's silicone. Never had that because mostly an iron is just all metal, right? This curling iron works fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I got it on Amazon. If I remember, I'll link it down below. And they also have a hair straightener that has silicone. I'm not going to buy that right now, but I really want it, and it's like $37. So I put that on my Amazon wish list because anything I really want that I'm on the fence about, I put on my wish list. So I really would love to get that hair straightener though and try it because I've done so much to my hair like in the past 2 years that I'm afraid if I keep doing stuff to it, I'm going to ruin it, and I don't want to ruin it. So segueing into that, you guys know the issues I've had with getting my hair done here recently and wanting to find a new hairstylist. So I did some research, took some suggestions from people, contacted like all these hairstylists, either by text, by filling out a form, by whatever. And I hadn't heard from anybody. I mean, I did this on Friday. And I know it's the weekend and I know it's a holiday, but I was thinking to myself, if I was a hairstylist, right? Wouldn't I be getting back to somebody like right away? But maybe not because it's the weekend. I don't know. But I also said to myself, all right, God, you need to point me, show me who's the right person I need to pick, right? So I actually got a response today from my old massage therapist, hairdresser, who, by the way, is about 10 minutes from me, if that, not even 10 minutes. And she texted me back and she said, boy, I wish every new client sent me a message like you did, because I sent her a message saying what I wanted. I sent her pictures of my hair currently and then what my hair goals were as far as cut and color. And then we talked back and forth. She gave me a bunch of appointment times and they were all like during the week. And I said, I'm going to be honest, I work long hours sometimes during the week. I said, so do you have anything on a Saturday? and she had something on July 2nd. So I'm going on July 2nd at 12:15. And I wrote her back again because I had kind of looked, I kept looking on Pinterest because I was just obsessed with looking on there. And I looked on there and I found another cut in a little bit different color, but still darker, like a darker brown with blonde highlights. And I said, I'm going to give you a little bit of my hair history here. I said I had cancer in 2017, lost all my hair. It came back beautifully. I said I dyed it for years after that. And then I started going to a salon and getting it done. And the first person wound up dyeing it way too dark and just, canceling my appointments and things like that. And then this current person, I liked my hair in the very beginning, but then they had put red around my temples and it looked like my temples were on fire. Like I have gray around my hairline. So you have to be careful about what you put on gray hair, right? And then when they did the blonde this last time, I just did not like how it turned out. So, I've felt when I've gone to hairdressers, no one I've come upon yet has really either given me their opinion, told me, no, this is not going to work for your hair. Yes, this will work. Or giving me some insight on how to keep my hair healthy. Like, I'm not the professional. They're the professional. So when I said all that, and I'm afraid because I've gotten my hair colored like pretty frequently here in the past couple of months, I'm afraid if I keep using bleach on my hair, I'm going to ruin my hair. So she said, well, when you come in, we'll talk about some options if you really want to avoid bleach, about what we can do. And she said, I'll also give you some recommendations for keeping your hair healthy. So, and I trust my previous massage therapist. I mean, I had went to her for 10 years and she always raved about her colorist and stylist. I always loved her hair and the color and everything. So I'm very confident. And they were the one that responded back to me first. So I told Bill, I said, I'm going to go with them. I said, because they wrote me back first. So she seems very nice. And like I said, the salon is right around the corner from me. It is in my town. So, and what's funny is, so July 2nd is, 4th of July is like that Monday. So July 2nd, we've been invited to like 2 parties. And we were just talking today before I made the appointment that we were going to go to like one of the parties, obviously. And so when I went downstairs and I told Bill that it was July 2nd, I said, I'm not going to be able to go to this party then. I said, because I don't know how long this hair appointment's going to be. And he said, well, we'll just go when you get back. I'm like, it could be hours though. So we'll see. We'll see how that winds up working out. Because at least when I come back from that appointment, my hair will be done. Right? Okay. So let's read the Unfuck Yourself entry for today. Good tear. Okay. On one hand, you can never change the past, but on the other, you can choose to change how you see and explain it, which in turn changes how you feel about it, which then, in every sense of the word, changes the past for you, at the very least, how it impacts you. I feel like every day, we always have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves. We can choose to act differently in common situations, how we react to things. You have the chance every single day to do it differently if you want to. And to tell a different story. We have stories that we tell to people over and over and over. You can choose to tell that story in a different way. Not lying, that's not what I'm condoning. You know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. So, let's end today by reading another small miracle story because they are so fantastic. And I actually found a book of poems that is going to be my next book I think I'm going to read to you guys. It is called something like I Wish I Knew. I forgot where I saw it. I want to say I saw it on Facebook in one of my groups. And I downloaded the sample and the poems are fantastic. It's about loving yourself and everything. It's so great. It's so great. I'm going to have to wind up buying the book. Okay. How long is this story? It's 2 pages. Okay, wait a minute. Let me see here. All right. Tom Stonehill had been driving for several hours when he was overcome with the urge to go to the bathroom. Wow, what a sentence of starting out a story. It was late at night, and all the gas stations he passed were closed. As time wore on, he became increasingly desperate. Finally, Tom exited the highway and drove into the first town along the road. There he searched for a place that had facilities open to the public. As he drove, his physical need took on heightened urgency and he started to pick up speed. Oh boy. Just as he began to accelerate, he heard someone on a loudspeaker instructing him to pull over to the side. It was the town sheriff. The sheriff got out of his car and approached Tom. "How fast do you think you can drive around here?" he asked in a formidable tone. "Sir," apologized Tom, "I never drive this fast, but you see, right now I am in dire need of a bathroom." And I'm going to pause here for a second. So in traffic now, Bill and I joke that whenever someone drives like really crazy, really fast, whatever, I just say they must have to poop. Like they must really have an emergency, right? So the sheriff noted the sincerity in Tom's voice and took pity on him. "I believe there may be something open if you continue on down this road," he said, pointing straight ahead, "but you have to watch the speed limit," he added. "I will," replied Tom, relieved and glad to be moving on. Moments later, Tom spotted a light in the distance. He was sure he was approaching a 24-hour grocery store. But the closer he came to his destination, the more it became clear that he was headed towards a funeral parlor. Oh boy. Tom felt hesitant about using their facilities, but his urge was too strong to ignore. He drove up to the entrance, parked his car, and walked in. Once inside, he was greeted warmly. "Welcome. Would you please sign in?" said Mr. Gifford, the funeral director. I'm just here to use the bathroom," Tom said apologetically. "May I?" "Of course you may," responded the director, "but please sign in first." Tom couldn't figure out why it was necessary to write his name down, but he did as he was told and hoped that would end the matter. Tom was about to ask the whereabouts of the men's room when Mr. Gifford said, "Please write in your full address as well." That would be bizarre, right? "But why do you need my address?" asked Tom, perplexed. "I'm just here to use the bathroom for a minute." "Please, sir, fill in the information," came the reply. "What the heck?" Tom muttered to himself as he wrote. Then he followed as Mr. Gifford led him to the men's room. Before leaving the funeral parlor, Tom stopped for just a moment to pay his respects to the deceased. On his way out of the building, Tom saw the sheriff. "Thank you," he nodded to Mr. Gifford and the sheriff. And with that, Tom was off and on his way back home. 3 weeks later, Tom received a phone call from a man unknown to him who identified himself as an attorney. "I represent the funeral home where you stopped to use the washroom a few weeks ago," the man said. "You need to be in my office this Thursday at 2:00 p.m. Can you imagine? Tom was shaken. Alarmed, he asked, "Please tell me, did I do something wrong? Will I need a lawyer?" "No, that won't be necessary," the attorney assured him. "Just be prompt," he said. The attorney gave Tom his address and then hung up the phone. For the next few days, Tom was on edge. That would be driving me bonkers, right? What could I possibly have done? Why would they call me in? He wondered aloud. That Thursday, he drove to the attorney's office with apprehension. Tom found the office building as instructed. With bated breath and a pounding heart, he knocked on the front door. "Come in," said the secretary. The attorney stepped out, formal introductions were made, and then Tom was directed to the office. Once inside, Tom was surprised to see both the sheriff and Mr. Gifford present. "Please be seated," began the attorney. "I have been authorized by the court to read the last will and testament of Mr. Stanley Murrow." The attorney picked up the guest book that Tom had signed. He turned to the funeral director, pointed at Tom, and asked, "Is this the man who signed the book?" "Yes," said the funeral director. Then the attorney looked at Tom and began. "I guess you didn't know Mr. Murrow. He was a very wealthy man. He owned most of this town. However, he did not have any family and was universally disliked, practically shunned by the townspeople. Mr. Murrow has authorized me to be his executor." The attorney picked up a document and continued. This is the shortest will I have ever drawn up. It reads simply, everyone hated my guts and no one ever got any money from me when I was alive. So any person who comes to my funeral is obviously someone who had some compassion for an old coot like me. I hereby bequeath my entire estate with all my holdings to be divided equally among those who actually attended my funeral. The attorney then looked straight at Tom. Yours was the only signature that appeared in the register book, he said. Therefore, holy hell. Can you imagine? You truly do not know the ramifications or the impact your actions are going to take. I mean, imagine if he wouldn't have been speeding and wouldn't have stopped. Would he have encountered that funeral home on his own? Maybe, but he probably would not have stopped to use the bathroom. Can you imagine? So the comment, there are misers who hoard their wealth, ensuring that no one will have pleasure from it but themselves. Financially, they may be well off, but spiritually they are bankrupt. Conversely, there are those who are in need, yet give of themselves generously and are blessed with an abundance of spirit. Who then is really the rich one and who is really poor? You know, I was telling my dad when we were at breakfast yesterday, I said, you know, I like this saying that I've read and heard in many videos and blog posts, that if you help someone in need, God will make sure that you're taken care of, right? And I actually told that to my mom when she was taking care of my grandparents, and just, there were many horrible, dark days for her where she didn't know if she was doing the right thing, making the right decisions, that she felt like she couldn't take it anymore. And, you know, there's also a meme that not even a meme, it was this, Jesus was asking this little girl for her teddy bear, and she was crying because she didn't want to give it up. But behind his back, he had an even bigger teddy bear. So I feel like if you help people, that you will get the help that you need as well. I like to think that, right? And I remember when I was going through cancer treatment, I hadn't even started treatment yet. I had a biopsy, and it was so painful and horrible. And there was a stretch of road by Mercy Hospital that I went to where there was a lot of homeless people. And this woman was just standing there. She wasn't begging. She wasn't going car to car. She was just standing there with a sign, and something just overtook me. I reached into my wallet, and all I had was $7. And I rolled down my window and I motioned her over and I said, please take this. Here you go. And I just rolled up the window, and I just had like tears rolling down my face because of what I'd gone through at the hospital. But I just felt, I trust my instinct when I feel stuff like that. And I like to think that $7 hopefully made a difference to her, maybe. Yeah. So do something good for somebody if the, inkling strikes you. Because you never know how, it's going to come around to you. But yeah. Okay, so I hope you guys are having a great Monday. Tomorrow is actually the first day of summer, technically here in the U.S. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing and spending almost 30 minutes of your time with me today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.